I'm excited, yet saddened to talk about RWBY. I'm excited because I get to show you what made it so great in the first place. I'm saddened because I have to show you how it destroyed itself and what it could have been. As a fan of Rooster Teeth when I was younger, I had heard of the show, but I never cared to check it out. It was a bunch of icky, dumb, gross girls, so why would I want to see that? It wasn't until some girls on my bus started comparing me to a character named Jean that I actually had an interest. I asked if he was like a cool, badass type character, and they laughed in my face. I went home after the school day and checked out the Red trailer. I was immediately hooked. The action, the color, the music. It was perfect. I went on to binge the only 2 seasons that were out, and I still craved more. But how? How did RWBY capture my attention so quickly, just to lose it over the years? The first thing that caught my eye was the fluid, fast-paced fight choreography. A crazy amount of effort and detail was put into each character's weapon, fighting style, and semblance, which is basically just a superpower. It was so exciting to see each character's weapon be revealed, and just what a genius idea to have them all transform. Definitely some of the best weapons in fiction. The anticipation for showdowns between characters was insane. Seeing different styles match up was so cool because it actually mattered. A really strong character who's really good for big, grim, and slower opponents will lose to a slick and clever fighter with more experience. Not only that, but the fights actually meant something to the characters. A majority of the time, if our heroes lost, there would be massive ramifications for the story. Personally, the best fighting style belonged to Sun. Look at this man go with the gunchucks. The characters themselves are really fun and unique. All of them stand out with well-defined personalities. Since they were all so different, I actually wanted to see them just stand around and talk at times.
I never got a chance to formally introduce you to my old friend.
Aren't libraries for reading?
Thank you!
Shut up, don't be a nerd.
Intellectual, okay? Thank you.
I never took you as the board game playing type.
Right. Well, I think I'm done playing actually. I'll see you guys later.
Women.
The comedy was on point as well for the first 3 seasons. I found myself smiling more often than not when they were just hanging out. The whole food fight scene was funny and epic. It was a perfect way to show these students becoming closer as friends.
Don't leave me!
RWBY also know how to be serious though. When they would argue, it made sense and the characters had real motivation. We would get to see them grow too. After a battle, an argument, some shared words of wisdom, they would change and take something with them every time. I think my favorite relationship between characters was Pierre and Jean. What a charming way to handle a romance. It was subtle, yet fun. The strongest and most intelligent girl falls for the weakest and nerdiest guy in a school full of warriors, but she doesn't make a move because she's not used to putting her personal life in front of her school life. And Jean doesn't even try, thinking that she'll never date a nobody like him. But that's what she loved about him, the fact that he treated her like a normal human and not some goddess on a pedestal. We watch them go back and forth as Pyrrha makes hints and John doesn't even notice as he's completely oblivious. You know, maybe those girls in the 4th grade comparing me to Jean weren't too far off. I'm nerdy and oblivious. Damn. Either way, I loved their dynamic, and especially how it ends. It was so cute up until season 3, where they finally start to find each other, but Pyrrha is forced into a much more complicated world. And then decides to fight an unwinnable battle. She pushes Jean away after sharing their first and last kiss. She fights to protect the kingdom, like she had trained for so many years. She pushes her feelings to the side to be a hero, but her efforts were not enough. Jean panics as he knows the inevitable is coming. He'll never see her again. And he doesn't. Pyrrha dies alone. Tragic endings are some of the best because they leave a bigger impact than any other emotion. You truly want these characters to be happy, but that happiness will never come. I would like to talk about the creator of RWBY before I get into its downfall, as I think it's one of the most important points to make. Monty Oum is someone I deeply admire. He was a true creative mind, and he somehow overcame the small budget and created an amazing 3 seasons of RWBY. He unfortunately passed away during the production of the 3rd season, and the show was never quite the same again. There was a passion and love he put into his work that can't be replicated. I'm also sure he had big plans for RWBY. I feel like the best writers always have a well thought out plan for their series. I believe Monty divided RWBY into 2 sections. The first being the setup, and the second being the execution. The setup went to season 3, and it would be more lighthearted with serious moments. It would give us some time to connect with these characters as they battle grim and low-level criminals. We got a chance to see our heroes in a time of peace, and we watched them have fun. But we also saw more going on behind the scenes. Something always felt off. We knew there was something bad coming, something that could change our character's fate forever. But that was overshadowed by the fun we were having while watching everyone laugh and smile. Monty led us into a false sense of security until the transition at the end of season 3. The evil in the shadows had become the forefront as the school is attacked. Pyrrha's death cements the shift in tone, as we now know these kids can die at the hands of the evil in this world. This is where the real story would begin, as the setup had been complete. Tragically, Monty never got to execute the rest of his story. He only got to start it. RWBY after Monty's passing might have received a visual upgrade, but the story and characters took a massive hit. To be fair, not everything is bad. There are still some good things, like Tyrion, and this scene, and this one. But, in all honesty, I don't like much else. The show kept getting worse after each season. The action was getting worse, the story was getting dull, the visuals were far less creative, and the characters weren't acting like themselves. Rooster Teeth didn't have the creativity to continue RWBY, and it shows. Even though the writers that took over were there from the start, they diverged from the original path. The worst thing that happened is the characters. By the later seasons, they feel like an empty shell of what they once were. Relationships form that break pre-existing ones, and some characters are completely different. Like Adam. Adam was a third-party antagonist. He wasn't the main villain, yet he was still a force to be reckoned with. Like most great villains, he had good intentions, but went about it in a horrible way. He fought for the equality of the faunus, which are basically animal people. He truly cared about them and fought for them. He had a teacher-student relationship with one of our main characters, Blake, but she ran from him as he became more and more of a monster. He returns much later in the story, but not to be a serious threat to the world or anything, just to be a creepy, jealous ex-boyfriend type of character that's completely obsessed with Blake. And not the faunus or anything, just Blake.
It's nice to finally have time to ourselves, don't you think?
Leave me alone!
Just forget it all. Is that what you did to me? You just threw our memories away? So I just wasn't good enough for you.
He's then beaten and killed by Blake and Yang, which doesn't make much sense considering he should be far above them. They really shouldn't be that much stronger from the first time they fought, because they never showed us anything to imply that. The fights became less exciting because we knew who was going to win. It was whoever the narrative demanded, even if it didn't make sense. Power scaling was out the window. It's also obvious that there's a misunderstanding from Rooster Teeth of how RWBY should be handled, because of one simple thing: color. Color was very important to RWBY. Everything was so vibrant on purpose. It made our main characters feel like a symbol of light in a dark and dangerous world. We rarely see that anymore. Everything is so muted and dull looking. The shots are boring and basic as well, with no motivation behind them, other than to just show the characters. I feel like the only reason the show still has success is because it's delivering on what Monty built up. What if he was the one who made those deliveries? What if he got to finish his story? We could have seen a truly amazing show, far different than the one we have now. How's it going, everyone? I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't mind the bird, not mine, just looking after it. I just wanted to add this part in to say thank you to anyone that watched my last Halo video. I really was not expecting the feedback it got. It was very positive. It got a lot of views, more than I was ever expecting. I'm not gonna lie, I was guessing around 10 to 15 views. I just wanted to say thank you because with all the support from that video, this actually makes me think that I could do this, could do YouTube. Maybe my dreams could be a reality. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Probably not, but yeah. Thank you to all of you who are returning to this video or have subscribed or liked or anything. It means a lot to me, and I hope I can keep making great content for all of you. Also, let me know down in the comments below what kind of stuff you want me to do reviews of, because I'll do whatever basically as long as I like it. Or don't like it, make a bad review. Who knows, we'll see what happens. Just leave a comment and maybe I'll do it. And another thing, let me know in the comments as well if you guys actually would like to see me play through a game or something, like a campaign, do a full run through. I think that could be kind of fun. I have a game in mind, pretty old. We'll see what happens. Let me know. And I'll be seeing you later. Thank you, everyone.